Just picture, for a second, every pet owner's worst nightmare. An open door, an unsecured window, a loud noise outside spooking them. And suddenly, your beloved companion is gone. Your heart sinks into your stomach. You put up flyers, you search basements, but nothing works. But what if you had a near 100% chance of getting your furry friend back home? Many people mistakenly believe that a microchip is like a GPS tracker, showing your cat's real-time location on a map. But is that actually true? Today, we are going to dive deep into the world of cat microchipping and settle this topic once and for all. We'll explain exactly what this tiny device is, how it functions, debunk the most common and frankly ridiculous myths, and clarify why this simple procedure isn't just a luxury, but an absolute necessity in the modern world. Stay tuned until the very end, and you'll find out how this little chip can save your pet's life and save your sanity. By the way, have you microchipped your cat yet? Let us know in the comments what's holding you back, or what prompted you to make that decision. To truly appreciate the importance of the microchip, let's take a quick trip back in time. The idea of animal identification is as old as time itself. Since ancient times, farmers branded their livestock with hot irons to prove ownership. Later, tattoos became common, often placed on the animal's ear or the inside of their thigh. While this method was certainly more humane, it had many drawbacks. Tattoos faded over time, they could be faked, and retrieving the information required restraining the animal, which caused immense stress. The 20th century introduced tags and collar IDs. This was definitely a step forward, but collars are easily lost, and a tag could snag on a branch, posing a serious danger to an active cat. The real revolution came with the development of radio electronics. In 1989, the technology for radio frequency identification, or RFID, specifically for animals, was patented. This is the exact technology that became the foundation of modern microchipping. The concept was brilliantly simple. Create a tiny, passive transmitter that doesn't require a battery and can last forever, and implant it just under the animal's skin. This allowed every single pet to be assigned a unique, permanent digital code that is impossible to lose or tamper with. Thus began a new era in the identification and recovery of lost animals. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is this microchip? Imagine a standard grain of rice. Now picture something even slightly smaller than that. That's roughly the size of a pet microchip. It measures about 12 millimeters long. That's roughly half an inch, and only 2 millimeters in diameter. It's a tiny capsule, housed in specialized biocompatible glass. This material is completely inert, meaning it doesn't react with the body's tissues. It won't cause rejection, allergies, or inflammation. The animal's body treats this capsule as a natural inclusion. Over time, it gets securely encased in a thin layer of connective tissue, which permanently locks it into place. Now the real magic happens inside this glass capsule. Hidden inside is a miniature silicone chip that holds a unique digital identification code, along with a small copper coil that acts as an antenna. Here is the most critical point. This device has absolutely no battery or internal power source. It is completely passive. It can stay under the skin for decades, completely dormant, emitting nothing. It simply waits for the moment when a special reading device, a scanner, is passed over it. This is why it is completely safe and requires zero replacement or maintenance throughout your pet's entire life. For a visual comparison, imagine a close-up shot of the microchip lying right next to a grain of rice and a standard sewing needle. This should give you a clear, visual understanding of just how miniature it truly is. Now that we understand the chip structure, let's explore exactly how it functions. The core technology behind it is called RFID, or Radio Frequency Identification. You've probably encountered this technology in daily life. It's used in building access keys, transit passes, or office entry badges. The operational principle is incredibly simple and elegant. As we mentioned earlier, the chip is passive and has no internal power source. It only activates when a scanner enters its field of operation. The scanner, which you can find in every veterinary clinic and shelter, emits a low-frequency radio signal. The copper coil antenna inside the microchip captures this signal and converts its energy into an electrical impulse. This tiny impulse is just enough to wake up the silicon chip and prompt it to send its unique identification number back to the scanner. This entire data exchange process takes only fractions of a second. A sequence of 15 digits appears on the scanner's screen. This number is the key to all of the animal's information. It's crucial to understand that the chip itself does not store any data about the owner, the pet's name, or its medical history. It only holds that single, unique digital code. Think of it like a passport number or a car's VIN. All the information linked to this number is not stored in the chip, but rather in specialized electronic databases, which we'll discuss shortly. The best way to illustrate this segment is through a simple animation. The scanner emits waves, they reach the chip lights up and sends the numerical reply signal back to the scanner screen. 15 digits appear on the scanner screen, but what exactly do they mean? This is far from a random sequence of numbers. It's a unique identification number that fully complies with international standards ISO 11784 and 17785. These standards guarantee that no two animals anywhere in the world share the exact same chip code, establishing a secure global identification system. Let's break down the structure of this code so you can appreciate how meticulously planned the system truly is. The first 3 digits represent either the country code where the chip was registered or the manufacturer's code. For instance, the code for Russia is 6143. The subsequent digits then form the unique animal registration number, which is assigned by the chip manufacturer itself. This strict system of standardization solves several crucial tasks. First, it completely eliminates confusion. You can be certain that your cat's unique number belongs to them, and only them. Second, it guarantees universal compatibility. A scanner manufactured in Germany can seamlessly read a chip installed in Russia or the US, and vice versa. This is critically important for international travel. When you cross a border, a veterinary control officer can use a standard scanner to instantly identify your animal and cross-reference the chip number with the number listed in the veterinary passport. Essentially, this 15-digit code serves as your pet's lifelong, globally recognized digital passport. It is impossible to counterfeit, alter, or remove. This number is permanently linked to your cat. Visualization. Show an infographic illustrating the 15-digit code, clearly separated into blocks, country manufacturer code, and unique animal ID, with corresponding explanatory text. Many pet owners dread the thought of having something implanted under their beloved animal's skin, but in reality, microchipping is one of the fastest and simplest procedures in veterinary medicine. The entire process takes less than a minute, and for a cat, the sensation is comparable to a routine vaccination. Let's walk through the steps. First, the veterinarian removes a specialized disposable syringe applicator from its sterile packaging. The microchip is already preloaded inside the needle of this syringe. Next, the vet verifies the chip's functionality using a scanner to ensure it's working properly and can be read correctly. After that, they disinfect the injection site with an antiseptic. Following international standards, the chip is injected subcutaneously, that is, just under the skin, in the scruff area, right between the shoulder blades. This spot is chosen for a reason. The skin here is loose and flexible, and there are fewer nerve endings, which makes the injection virtually painless. The vet creates a small pinch of skin, and with one swift motion, inserts the needle and presses the plunger of the syringe. That's it. The chip is immediately in place. While the applicator needle is slightly thicker than a standard vaccination needle, it has a specialized, ultra-sharp tip designed specifically to minimize discomfort. Most cats barely even notice the injection, or they react just as they would to any routine shot, with mild annoyance. Immediately after insertion, the vet scans the scruff area one last time to confirm the chip has been successfully placed and is readable. No anesthesia, special preparation, or follow-up care is required. The best visual demonstration would be showing the entire process on a veterinary training dummy or a very calm animal to highlight just how fast and easy the procedure truly is. The number one question that stresses out every loving cat owner is always, will my kitty feel pain? This is both the most common worry and simultaneously the biggest myth surrounding the entire microchipping process. Let's be real here. Yes, any injection is going to be slightly unpleasant. However, the level of discomfort associated with microchip insertion is often dramatically exaggerated. As we've mentioned, the feeling is very similar to a routine vaccination. While the needle is slightly thicker, its sharpness and the speed of the procedure ensure that any sensation of pain is minimal. Most cats tolerate an injection in the scruff, the loose skin over the shoulder blades, much better than, say, an injection in the hind leg, which is often needed for certain medications. The entire procedure takes literally 1 or 2 seconds. The actual insertion of the needle is the only moment of potential annoyance. Immediately afterward, your cat feels absolutely nothing. The microchip is so tiny and lightweight that the animal won't feel its presence under the skin, not right after the procedure, nor for the rest of its life. The skin around a cat's scruff is naturally dense and less sensitive. This is an evolutionary defense mechanism designed to protect them during fights. That's why they handle injections in this spot quite well. Of course, every animal is different. A particularly sensitive cat might briefly yelp or try to pull away, but that reaction only lasts as long as the injection itself. They calm down right afterward. There is absolutely no post-procedure, limping, pain, or lasting discomfort. To totally debunk this myth, just look at video comparisons. On one screen, you see a cat's reaction to a routine vaccination, and on the other, the microchip insertion. Viewers quickly realise that the reactions are virtually identical. Alright, we've covered the pain aspect, but what about long-term safety? Doesn't introducing a foreign object like this pose risks down the line? This is the second most frequently asked question, and it has a clear-cut answer. Backed by decades of research and practical use, microchips are considered extremely safe. Let's break down the potential risks. The first concern is chip migration. Early in the technology's history, back in the 90s, there were indeed rare instances where the chip could shift away from the initial injection site. However, modern chips utilize a special coating that encourages the growth of connective tissue around the capsule. Within just a few weeks of insertion, the chip essentially integrates into the subcutaneous fat and remains firmly fixed in place. Today, the risk of migration is virtually zero. Second, we look at inflammation or rejection. The biocompatible glass used to make the capsule is completely inert. This means the animal's immune system will not attack it. Cases of rejection or allergic reactions are exceedingly rare, measured in hundredths of a %. And finally, let's address the most frightening myth of all, the idea that the chip might cause cancer. This myth is widely circulated online, but lacks any scientific foundation whatsoever. The British Small Animal Veterinary Association, or BSAVA, has maintained a database tracking microchipping side effects since 1996. Over that period, millions of chips have been implanted. Among these millions of chipped animals, only a handful of tumours have ever been reported in the implantation area. Crucially, a direct causal link between the chip and the tumour has never been proven. The risk of developing a tumour at the injection site after chipping is no higher, and by some accounts, actually lower, than the risk of developing a post-vaccination sarcoma. Therefore, the benefits of microchipping far outweigh any hypothetical risks. An infographic demonstrating the ratio of millions of implants to isolated incidents of complications provides the best possible evidence of safety. The microchip is only half the system. The second, equally vital half is the scanner. Without it, the chip is just a tiny, useless glass capsule beneath the skin. The scanner is a portable device that, as we've established, activates the chip and reads its unique identification number. So what exactly does it look like? Externally, it typically resembles a small handheld terminal or perhaps a TV remote control. It has an antenna, usually configured as a loop or a ring at the end, and a small screen that displays the retrieved code. Scanners come in various forms. There are compact models that fit easily into a pocket, and there are larger, stationary units that might be built into something like a pet door. But the basic operating principle remains the same for all of them. When a found or stray animal is brought to a veterinarian or a shelter, the first thing the staff does is scan the animal's body. Standard scanning protocol dictates checking the area between the shoulder blades, known as the scruff or withers. However, just in case the chip has migrated, the animal is scanned thoroughly across its entire body surface. As soon as the scanner is close enough to the chip, usually within 5 to 15 centimeters, a confirming beep sounds, and that specific 15-digit number appears on the display. Where can you find these scanners? They are mandatory equipment for any veterinary clinic. They are also standard issue in all animal shelters, with animal control services, and in many countries you can even find them in police and fire departments. This ensures that any lost or found animal entering an official facility will be immediately checked for a microchip. In short, an entire infrastructure has been created with the single goal of retrieving that chip information as quickly as possible. To illustrate this, we can show various models of scanners in action. A veterinarian scanning a cat, or a shelter employee checking a newly arrived animal. Alright, the scanner just picked up those 15 crucial digits. What now? By itself, that number is worthless. It's just a sequence of figures. To give it meaning, we need to link it to the owner's data, and that's where the databases come into play. A database is essentially an electronic filing system, where every unique microchip number is linked to a record containing the owner's contact information, full name, address, phone number, and email. The registration process is the most crucial and, frankly, the most responsible part of microchipping. After your vet installs the chip, they'll hand you a special sticker with the barcode and the chip number. This sticker usually goes into your pet's health book or passport, but that is not enough. Your main job is to ensure this number is properly registered in a national, international database. While the vet clinic often handles this step, you absolutely must follow up and confirm it was done. In Russia, there are several large databases, such as Animal ID or Animal Face. Other countries, of course, operate under their own national registration systems. It's vital to ensure the information you submit is current and accurate, and that you double-check it for errors. Without being registered in a database, the microchip itself is pointless. If your pet is found and scanned, but that microchip number doesn't pop up in any registry, then contacting you is simply impossible. It's the equivalent of finding an identification card that has no name or photo. So, remember this critical distinction. Microchipping involves two separate procedures. The first is the physical implantation of the chip. The second, and equally important, is the registration of that chip number in the database. The best way to illustrate this is with a screencast, showing you exactly what one of these database websites looks like and the specific fields you need to complete when registering your pet. Let's set the scene. You're walking down the street and spot a cat that is clearly well cared for, domestic, but looks totally lost. It's affectionate, maybe asking for food. What should you do? The first and most important rule: don't walk by, and don't assume that just because the cat looks healthy, it's simply an outdoor pet roaming freely. It might have gotten lost very recently and could be terrified. Your mission is to help reunite it with its family. Here is a step-by-step guide. Step 1. Ensure safety. If the cat is friendly and approaches you, gently pick it up or place it in a carrier, if you happen to have one. Move the animal away from traffic and keep it safe from dogs. Step 2. Focus on the chip, not flyers. While posting found cat signs is helpful, it's often not the most efficient method. Your primary goal must be checking the cat for a microchip. Step 3. Take the animal to a vet or shelter. Transport the animal to the nearest veterinary clinic or rescue shelter. Explain the situation and ask them to scan the cat. This service is almost always free of charge. Step 4. Database, search and contact. If a chip is detected, the clinic or shelter staff will enter the ID number into the national database system. If the chip is registered, the system will immediately provide the owner's contact information. Typically, veterinary staff will contact the owners directly and share the good news. This is the fastest and most reliable way to get a lost pet home. If you keep the cat and simply wait for the owner to find you, you might waste critical time. The microchipping infrastructure is a powerful tool, and we need to know how to use it effectively. For visual clarity, you could create a simple animated infographic or flowchart. Found cat, take to vet clinic, scan for chip, database search, call owner. Let's now look at the reverse and far more tragic situation. Your cat is missing. Panic, fear, despair. These are totally normal initial reactions, but it's crucial to compose yourself and approach this systematically. If your cat is microchipped, you have a huge advantage. Here is the action plan. Step 1. Immediately check that your contact information in the microchip registry is current. Log into your personal account on the database website and ensure your phone number and email address are correct. If you've recently moved or changed numbers but haven't updated the database, they simply won't be able to reach you. This is the single most common mistake, and it completely negates the benefit of chipping. Step 2. Activate the Report Missing function. Many databases offer this feature. If someone enters your pet's chip number into the system, they will immediately see the missing status and your emergency contact details. Step 3. Call every vet clinic and animal shelter in your area. Tell them your cat is missing, provide a detailed description, and absolutely give them the microchip number. Ask them to log this information in their records. If someone brings your cat to them, they will instantly know who the owner is. Step 4. Simultaneously use traditional search methods. Put up posters with a clear photo and post announcements in local community social media groups. Crucially, make sure you mention in these posts that the cat is microchipped. This helps deter potential fraudsters who might try to claim a reward by pretending a stray animal is yours. The microchip is your best chance, but it only works when paired with your own active efforts. As a visual aid, a checklist summarizing all these steps can be displayed on screen. If you love traveling and want to take your furry friend along, microchipping isn't just a recommendation, it's a strict, non-negotiable requirement. Nowadays, without a microchip, you won't be able to export your cat to almost any country in the world, especially the European Union, the UK, the US, the UAE, and many others. Why is this so crucial? The microchip is the primary and most reliable method for identifying your pet when crossing international borders. It allows customs and veterinary services to verify that the animal listed in the paperwork is in fact the animal you are travelling with. This verification is a key element in controlling the spread of infectious diseases, particularly rabies. The procedure is as follows. To travel internationally, your cat must have an international veterinary passport. A sticker containing the chip number is affixed inside this passport. Crucially, microchipping must be done before the rabies vaccination. If you vaccinate first and then insert the chip, that vaccination will be deemed invalid for international travel. The logic is straightforward. First, the animal is identified by the chip, and only then are medical procedures performed, linking them to that specific ID number. At the border, a veterinary control officer uses a special scanner to read your cat's microchip number and verifies it against the number in the passport and the veterinary certificate. If the numbers match and all vaccinations are current, you will be cleared to proceed. If there is no chip, or if the number doesn't match the documentation, you will simply be turned away at the border. Therefore, if there is even a remote possibility that you might travel with your pet, get the microchipping done well in advance. It truly is your cat's ticket to the world. This process is often illustrated by an image of an international veterinary passport, showing a close-up of the page with the microchip sticker and vaccination records. Beyond tracking lost pets and facilitating travel, the microchip serves another crucial, often overlooked purpose. It's the ultimate legal proof of ownership. Unfortunately, disputes sometimes arise where two different people claim the same cat. This could involve ex-spouses fighting over a pet during a divorce, conflicts with neighbours who assumed your wandering cat was a stray and adopted it, or, worst of all, the theft of a valuable purebred animal. In these disputes, words carry little weight. Receipts from a pet store or photos with the cat might be circumstantial, but they aren't definitive. The microchip, however, is the concrete, irrefutable evidence. If your cat is chipped and registered in an official database under your name, then in any court or police proceeding, this becomes undeniable proof that the animal belongs specifically to you. A law enforcement officer or judge can simply order a scanning procedure. If the chip number matches the one registered to you, the ownership question is immediately settled. This is especially relevant for owners of expensive, purebred animals who are targets for theft. No one can steal your pet and resell it, because the moment the new owner takes the animal to a vet, they will be instantly exposed. Essentially, the chip transforms your cat from mere property into an asset with a unique, globally registered serial number. This provides serious protection for your rights as an owner. A simple, clear animation could illustrate this moment. Two figures arguing over a cat. A third figure in uniform, a judge or police officer, appears, scans the cat, and points toward the arguing party who is the rightful, legal owner. Let's circle back to one of the biggest misunderstandings we mentioned right at the start. Many people still confuse a microchip and a GPS tracker. It's crucial to understand that these are two completely different devices, serving fundamentally different purposes. A microchip is a passive identification tag. It doesn't emit any signals, has no power source, and cannot track your cat's location. It only works at a very close range when activated by a scanner. Its job is to answer the question, whose cat is this? Once the animal has already been found. A GPS tracker, on the other hand, is an active tracking device. It's a small box that clips onto the collar. Inside, it contains a GPS module to determine coordinates and a GSM module with a SIM card to transmit those coordinates directly to your smartphone. It requires regular battery charging, just like your cell phone, and usually involves a paid subscription for cellular service. Its task is to answer the question, where is my cat right now? Each of these devices has its own distinct pros and cons. The microchip is reliable, permanent, requires zero maintenance, cannot be lost, and is recognized worldwide. However, it won't help you find your cat in real time. The GPS tracker allows real-time movement tracking, but you have to recharge it every few days. It can also be lost along with the collar. Your cat might get snagged on something, and it's quite bulky for many smaller felines. The ideal option for maximum safety is to use both devices. Think of the microchip as a permanent passport and the GPS tracker as your monitoring tool during outings, especially if your cat goes outside. A clear comparison chart on your screen featuring columns for microchip and GPS tracker and rows detailing functionality, power source, size, purpose, pros and cons should clarify everything. The question of price is often the decisive one. So, how much does it actually cost to microchip your cat? Let us start by saying this. It is one of the most affordable veterinary procedures available. The total cost of microchipping is made up of two main components, the price of the microchip itself and the veterinary service fee for its implantation. The actual chip sealed within a sterile applicator is quite inexpensive. The specialist labour makes up the bulk of the cost, their time, the use of sterile supplies, and, most importantly, the subsequent registration in the database. In Russia, the average turnkey price for the procedure typically ranges from 1,000 to 2,500 rubles, depending on the region and the clinic standard. Vet clinics often run promotions, such as spay or neuter, plus microchip discount, making the procedure even more economical. It is essential to confirm whether the price includes database registration. Some less reputable clinics might simply implant the chip, hand you the sticker, and stop there, leaving the registration process entirely up to you. It is far better to choose clinics that handle the entry of your pet's data into national and international databases themselves and provide you with a certificate of registration. Now let's compare this one-time expense to the potential costs of searching for a lost cat. This includes printing and posting hundreds of flyers, running paid social media ads, offering a finder's reward, and critically, your stress, time, and emotional turmoil. Against that backdrop, the single payment for microchipping is a truly negligible investment in your peace of mind and your pet's safety. An infographic would be highly persuasive, showing on one side of a scale a small stack of coins labelled cost of microchipping, and on the other side a mountain of posters, question marks, clocks, and stress tablets labelled cost of loss. Is it too early or too late to microchip my cat? That's a question we hear a lot from concerned pet owners. Vets give a clear answer. Microchipping can be done at any age. There are no strict age restrictions. However, there are some recommendations that can help make the procedure as comfortable and timely as possible. The ideal time for microchipping is generally considered to be around 2 to 3 months old, right when the kitten receives its first set of vaccinations. It's easy and convenient to combine the chipping procedure with this routine vet visit, since the kitten is already experiencing a little stress from the clinic visit and the injection. Introducing the chip won't add any significant additional discomfort. Plus, kittens at this age are incredibly curious and prone to slipping outside, so early identification is extremely important. Microchipping is also often done during the spaying or neutering procedure, while the animal is already under general anesthesia. If you choose this option, the cat won't feel a thing. But what if you have an adult or even a senior cat who hasn't been chipped yet? Don't worry, it is absolutely never too late to do it. The procedure for an adult cat is exactly the same as it is for a kitten and is just as safe. If you adopt a cat from a shelter, chances are they are already microchipped. Be sure to ask the shelter staff to scan the cat while you are present and provide you with all the necessary documents to re-register the chip under your name. The main rule here is better late than never. Don't put off the procedure, thinking that your indoor adult cat won't ever wander off. Accidents and escapes happen at any age. Suggested visual. Imagine a timeline of a cat's life, from kittenhood to old age, with the ideal microchipping moments clearly marked. First vaccination, spay or neuter surgery, and the phrase, any other time, written across the entire duration. The internet is rife with microchip myths, and some of them are truly outlandish. For example, some people genuinely worry that a chip might eventually run out of battery, demagnetize, or simply stop functioning. Let's take a look at why these scenarios are physically impossible. As we've mentioned many times before, microchips do not contain a battery at all. They don't require power to store information, so they can't run out of juice. The unique ID number is hard-coded into its silicon memory right at the factory and cannot be erased or modified. That number is stored there permanently. Now let's address demagnetization. The chip operates using radio frequency identification, or RFID induction, not magnetic recording, like old audio cassettes or credit cards. Powerful magnets, X-rays, airport metal detectors, or even microwave ovens. None of these can damage the chip or wipe its data. Its biocompatible glass capsule and simple internal structure make it extremely resilient to external interference. The microchip's lifespan is designed to far exceed that of the pet itself. Manufacturers typically guarantee a working life of 25 years or more. In the entire history of this technology, there has never been a documented case where a chip has simply died of old age. The only hypothetical way a chip could stop scanning is if it were physically destroyed, for instance, due to a severe blunt force trauma specifically to the scruff area. But the probability of this occurring is negligible, so you can rest assured, once implanted, the chip will reliably serve your pet for its entire life. A fun animation showing attempts to destroy the chip with a huge magnet, lightning, and a laser, only for it to remain perfectly intact, will illustrate this point beautifully. Let's move on to a popular conspiracy theory, the idea that intelligence agencies use microchips to spy on me and my pet. This fear stems from a total misunderstanding of how the technology works. Let's explain, one more time, in the simplest possible terms, why that's physically impossible. The chip is not a GPS tracker. It doesn't transmit any signals on its own. It's completely passive. To read the information, you must hold a specialized scanner within a few centimeters of the chip. That's right, just a few centimeters. No satellite, no cell tower, and certainly no van rigged with rooftop antennas can read your cat's microchip. Even if the cat were sitting right on the vehicle's hood, the effective scanning range is simply too limited. Furthermore, the chip only transmits a number, a 15-digit identification code. It does not transmit your name, your address, or your browsing history. All it says is, "My number is 985, and so on. For that number to mean anything, you need access to a secured database. Access to the databases maintained by veterinary clinics and shelters is strictly regulated. No one can simply log in and view owner information. It can only be accessed through an official request, for example, by the police investigating the theft of a pet. In summary, the microchip cannot be used for surveillance. It doesn't transmit geolocation data. It doesn't store personal information. It is absolutely passive. Fearing surveillance via a microchip is exactly the same as fearing being tracked through the barcode on your carton of milk. To illustrate this visually, imagine an infographic showing a cat with a microchip emitting a tiny signal, just a couple of centimeters, and then crossed out images of a distant satellite and a cell tower that are nowhere near close enough to receive that signal. We've discussed how important microchip registration is, but what happens if you travel or move to another country? Will a chip registered, say, in a Russian database, be useful in Europe or America? This is where international database networks come into play. There are major global lookup systems such as EuroPetNet, the European Database Network, or PetLink. These systems aren't databases themselves. They're more like centralized search portals or aggregators. They consolidate information from countless national registries across the globe. When a vet in another country enters a microchip number into one of these international lookup engines, the system automatically determines which country and which specific national database registered the chip. It then provides a direct link to that registry or the relevant contact information. This means that even if your cat is found thousands of miles from home, the finder will still have a way to contact you. That's why, when registering your chip, it is crucial to choose databases that are integrated into these international networks. This information is usually clearly stated on the database website itself. Registering with a database that supports international searching dramatically increases the chances of a successful reunion if your pet gets lost while traveling. It essentially creates one unified global search space for lost animals, bridging geographical gaps. For visualization, picture a world map where the logos of various national databases are connected by lines to a central hub, symbolizing the international search network, demonstrating how seamlessly they share information. We've arrived at the most critical aspect, the owner's responsibility. You can implant the most advanced chip and register it in the best international database, But all that effort is useless if you make one simple, crucial mistake: failing to update your contact information. Shelter statistics show that the number one reason found microchipped animals aren't returned to their owners is outdated information in the registry. People move house, change their mobile number, or switch email providers, but forget to update that critical data in their pet's profile. Picture the scenario: your cat is found, brought to a clinic and scanned. The staff locates your profile in the database, calls the listed number and hears, "This number is no longer in service." They try the email address, but the message bounces back. Just like that, the search hits a dead end. This cat, who had a 100% chance of returning home, is now sent to a shelter as a stray. So, make this a firm rule. Whenever your contact information changes, be it your phone, address, or last name, the very first thing you do after getting a new SIM card or signing a lease is log onto the database website and update your details. It will take you 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes could save your pet's life one day. Set a calendar reminder to check the accuracy of your data once a year. Your responsibility doesn't end when you leave the vet's office. It lasts for the entire life of your animal. The best illustration of this is a sad but cautionary image. A shelter worker holds a phone, looking down at a confused cat, while the screen clearly displays "Number not in service." Microchipping technology is constantly evolving. What seems like a standard procedure today was pure science fiction just 30 years ago. So, what does the future hold? Development in this field is moving in several key directions. The first, and most promising, is the creation of biometric microchips. Even now, microchips are being actively deployed that can do more than just relay an identification number. They can also measure the animal's body temperature. This allows the veterinarian to check a cat's temperature simply by passing a scanner over its shoulder blades, completely skipping the traditional thermometer method that none of our pets enjoy. This not only reduces stress for the animal, but also empowers owners to monitor their pet's health status independently. In the future, these chips may integrate other sensors, such as those measuring blood glucose levels for diabetic pets or monitoring heart rates. The second major direction is integration with smart home systems. Special pet doors already exist that only unlock when approached by an animal registered with a specific chip number. This effectively prevents stray cats or other uninvited guests from entering the house. Looking ahead, the chip could become the key to an automated feeder, dispensing a precisely calculated portion for that specific pet, or to a smart water fountain. This is especially convenient if you have multiple pets on different diets. Microchipping is evolving from a simple identification system into a comprehensive platform for health monitoring and pet care management, ultimately making our lives with our companions safer and much more convenient. A futuristic animation showing a cat approaching a smart feeder, which scans its chip and dispenses the correct food, would perfectly illustrate these exciting prospects. So, let's wrap things up. Today, we've taken a deep dive into the world of a tiny device that offers enormous benefits. We've established that the microchip is not a GPS tracker or a spy device. Instead, it is your most reliable tool for finding your lost pet. It is essentially your pet's lifelong digital ID, a credential that can't be lost, counterfeited, or stolen. The implantation procedure itself is fast, virtually painless, and extremely safe. And the potential benefit? It's simply priceless. Microchipping isn't just your best chance of reuniting with a missing cat, it's also often a requirement for international travel, and it provides significant legal proof of ownership should a dispute arise. It is the hallmark of a responsible owner who prioritizes their pet's safety and well-being. This entire complex system of chips, scanners, and databases was created with one single goal: to ensure that as many lost pets as possible can be safely reunited with their loving families. Thank you so much for watching this important video all the way through. If you found this information helpful, please hit the like button and share this video with other cat owners. And of course, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our future videos about your pet's health and safety. Now for the most important question for you. Is your cat already microchipped? Share your experiences, doubts, or even rescue stories enabled by a chip in the comments below. Let's start a discussion.